Welcome back. It is Friday, November 15th in the NBA, and my best bets are on the way. In this video, a couple props, a same game parlay, and we hunt for our 8th straight spread winner. We're going to try to get the job done. We'll talk about that later on in this video. If you are new, my name's Austin. Thank you for joining me. I'd recap normally how we did yesterday, but I didn't have any NBA picks. I took off that Mavericks and Jazz game. And good thing I did, because that was a weirdo game. The Jazz win, Mavs lose outright as like 9-point favorites. Kyrie ruled out. Count me out. I'm glad we avoided that. We got a lot of action, though, today in the second edition of NBA in-season tournament, NBA Cup games. The courts are going to be crazy. Hopefully our bets are cashing while we watch these games. But let's dive into these things. I have nothing to promote. Later on today, I'll be posting our college football video. I went 7-1 last week on college football. So definitely tap into that. And if you're in the DubClub, I'll be posting my NFL plays all day long. So I don't post the NFL videos until tomorrow, but you'll get all the props early today, most likely. But let's dive in the picks. First pick of the day. Our first quarter prop, and it is the process. Joel Embiid over 5.5 first quarter points, -113 on FanDuel. Now, I love Joel Embiid in the first quarter tonight, and before you even harass him for how bad he looked in the first game, at least let me explain why I like Joel Embiid first quarter points tonight for a 1-unit play. Now, I knew this was a line that was available on FanDuel. Obviously, Caesars, DraftKings, Bet365. DraftKings doesn't have the best odds, though, for him for whatever reason, but a lot of other books have reasonable odds for him at 5.5 first quarter points. That's why I'm going to take Joel. I like his full game line, but as you saw in his first game, he didn't look great, and the conditioning wasn't great there either. So I'd rather trust Joel if he's going to get to the 23.5 points he needs for his regular line. I anticipate he's going to have to do a lot of that damage when his legs are under him in that first quarter. And we saw, like I said, Joel Embiid in his first game back didn't look great. 13 points, 2 of 11 shooting, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. But in the first quarter, 7 minutes, 2 points, 0 for 2. He had 3 assists. The Knicks were doing a good job of trying to get the ball out of his hands, and he obviously didn't look great. Like I said, conditioning wasn't there. If you watch that game, Joel basically called to come out at the 5-minute or 7-minute mark, only after 5 minutes. Now, he did get re-put back in the game at like the 2-minute mark. So obviously, if that's how they want to play him, sure. I'd rather Joel Embiid comes in, scores 6 points in the first 2 minutes, and then I don't care what the heck, how many minutes he plays. Now, I'm not anticipating Joel Embiid plays 10, 12 first quarter points like he probably does later on in the season, but I think he can get the job done in a great matchup against the Orlando Magic. Now, the Magic are not a good matchup for a lot of other guys because, well, they have some elite defenders in terms of Jalen Suggs, KCP, so the guards are going to have struggled to score against this Magic team. However, where they have a big weakness is their center position, where you likely see Goga Badance be the matchup for Joel Embiid, and they're not going to give Goga help. You saw kind of Cat getting some help from the Knicks. No, they're not giving help to Mr. Goga. Good luck. Have fun. And I could see Goga getting into foul trouble early in this game. This has been a matchup that he has absolutely been destroyed by. Joel Embiid destroys the Magic time and time again, and he's normally a consistent first quarter scorer. Normally, Embiid's line's like 8.5. So obviously getting a discount here because he's not expected to play all the minutes. But last year, Joel Embiid over this line, 5.5 first quarter points, and all 5 games in which he played between 6 to 9 minutes, scoring 13, 7, 10, 6, and 9 points. Those included a lot of games that he returned back from injury. Again, Joel Embiid, I do not expect to play 10 to 12 minutes tonight. If he did, this is an easy winner. But I expect him to be in that 6 to 9 minutes. That's where he fell in that Knicks game. Expect him to say 9, maybe 8 minutes in this first quarter, and I think he comes through. And as I said, he has destroyed the Orlando Magic. Embiid over this line in 10 straight first quarters against the Magic. His last 3, he scored 16, 15, and 13 points. He's played 10 or fewer minutes in 4 of those games. So it's not like he was playing all 12 in every single game. He's been playing, 8 to 10 in a couple of these games and still coming through. The Magic do not leave open shooters, so they're not giving Goga Badance, or if Wendell Carter Jr. somehow spawns back in today, they're not giving those guys help. You're going to get one-on-one Embiid, and I think you're going to see him try to get going early. And I think the Sixers try to get him going early. Obviously, he's a key part of this offense with Tyrese Maxey down and Paul George. Who knows what his status is for this game. Again, I like his regular line for 23.5, but I don't think that hits unless Joel Embiid gets you 6 in the first quarter, because again, his conditioning could wane towards the end of this game where his legs aren't under him and he's falling short on a lot of shots. I want him early in this game, coming off a terrible game against the Knicks. Give me Joel Embiid first quarter points. It's a 1-unit play. First quarter points can be a high variance, but I really think this is the winner. So I'll put 1 unit on Mr. Embiid. The process to go out and score 6 in the first quarter. My second play before getting to our spread pick of the day will be an under. No one likes unders, but hey, they print a lot more ways to cash an under than there are to cash an over, and I like this one today. Nic Claxton, under 9.5 rebounds, -115 on BetMGM. I'd play this about -140. I don't know if the line drops to 8.5. I probably wouldn't touch 8.5 if that's me, but I'm playing this for 1 unit. I like fading Claxton on the road in Madison Square Garden, taking on the New York Knicks. Now, we just took an under in rebounds against the Knicks. That was Joel Embiid. Partially was that matchup based. Yes, it's a bad matchup. We'll talk about that in a second. And his conditioning, I didn't expect to be great. This is not a great spot for Nic Claxton. Now, for starters, Ben Simmons is active tonight. You might be like, I don't care if Ben Simmons is active. Well, I do, because Ben Simmons is basically their backup center. And so he plays a lot of minutes. And when he's out there, they don't really play Claxton and him at the same time because those are two guys that don't shoot jump shots. So it's kind of hard for spacing on the floor. So you see Claxton and Simmons kind of compete for minutes, and it really limits the upside of Nic Claxton. And I expect, like I said, Ben Simmons is active. In the last 4 games Simmons has played and Claxton has obviously played, we've seen him play 32, 28, 22, and 24 minutes. Now, the 32 and 28, sure, he was playing well in those games. One of those he went into overtime and got 5 extra minutes there. In those games, he had 9, 1, 10, and 9 rebounds. So you might be like, Austin, this is sweaty, man. I don't want to sweat out this. He's been ending with 9. Yeah, well, look at the matchups. He faced the Pelicans, one of those games. Pelicans have no interior size. He faced the Bulls, a team that is like top 3, top 5 in pace of play. And so they're going up and down the court. A lot of rebounds to go. Now the Celtics, an all right matchup there for centers. Again, this is a bad matchup for him. The Knicks play at the second slowest pace in the NBA. The only team slower, Brooklyn Nets, and the Knicks allow the fewest rebounds per game to opposing centers. Again, another reason why we took that Joel Embiid under versus them. Knicks don't give up a lot of rebounds to centers. Why is that? Because now they have Karl-Anthony Towns, and Towns obviously an elite 3-point shooter. If you're a center guarding him, which Claxton will be the guy tasked with guarding Karl-Anthony Towns, you're going to have to go out on the perimeter and guard him. If you don't, you're going to give up free 3-pointers, and you better be going at least in late contesting those shots, not giving him wide open shots. Because if you cap wide open shots, Magic Claxton gets benched here. And again, this is not a good spot for him. Only 3 centers have had 10 rebounds against the Knicks. Alperen Sengun, Jared Allen, and Nikola Vucevic. All 3 of those guys played 30 or more minutes. As I said, I don't expect Claxton to play 30 or more minutes tonight with Ben Simmons now active. Claxton's last 3 games first into the Knicks with less than 30 minutes, 6, 8, and 8 rebounds. You're also going to have him potentially get into foul trouble against Cat. You're going to have Jalen Brunson taking a lot of those screens from Cat, coming to the mid-range where you're going to probably see Claxton have to come up and contest those shots. And again, now we have another guy in Dorian Finney-Smith who is probable tonight. I love this under for Nic Claxton. This is a Knicks team coming off a loss. And look, the Nets are 10-point underdogs here. They've been competitive and they've been spicy. This could be a bad spot for him. So I will take Nic Claxton. I'll take his under 9.5 rebounds. I love this play for 1 unit at -115 on BetMGM. But I'm throwing it to Logan. He's hit 7 straight spread picks. You guys better keep that same energy. You were attacking him just a week ago when he was ice cold to start the year. He's red hot. Keep that same energy. Logan needs to deliver another winner, and he's back in a home team. Logan, the floor is yours.
I'm looking to keep the spread picks hot, and today I'm going with a favorite. I'm taking the Pacers -3.5, -115 odds on BetMGM is currently your best value there. Now, I do want to note these same teams play on Sunday in Indiana again, so there's potential to see how this game goes and maybe double down or even bet the other side in this matchup. So these 2 teams will play again in very short time. At home, Indiana 3-1 against the spread, 4-1 against the spread after a loss. I like the Pacers coming off a loss. They are usually a good bounce back team. Obviously, their loss recently was against Orlando. We found our stride really backing the better offensive team. It's just a philosophy I've had. You put more points on the board, you're going to cover the spread. I know, crazy stat right there, but I really do think Indiana matches up pretty well in that offensive philosophy. Pacers 14th in points per game, 5th in field goal percentage, 10th in 3-point field goal percentage. So pretty much a top 10 offense, especially in the categories we care about. By comparison, the Heat 20th in points per game, 22nd in field goal percentage, 6th in 3-point field goal percentage. So they are decent at threes. But again, I just think that Indiana is the more efficient scoring team. And it comes down to limiting a guy like Tyler Hero and forcing Terry Rozier and Bam Adebayo, guys like that, to really beat you. I mean, Tyler Hero went berserk in his most recent game. Will that happen again? Maybe not. But it was just still wasn't enough, which is kind of crazy because that's the Heat emptying the tank. I expect a bounce back game also in this one from Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, prop wise, you guys bet what you want to bet. I would never touch his points personally. He's very volatile there. But he was a terrible 9 points, 3 for 14 in that game against Orlando. He's a better player than that. I mean, look at his points line today. It's sky high for a reason. It's something I definitely wanted to take note of. I just think Tyrese Halliburton's going to be more aggressive. He will be more efficient, just law of averages, right? I like this Pacers team a lot more, and only asking them to win by 4 at home against a Heat team that I just think is beatable. I mean, we've had our love-hate relationship with this Heat team already this year, but I like the Pacers in this spot. So I'm rolling with Indiana as my favorite spread pick. But Austin, throwing it back to you.
Hey, go Pacers. We're rooting on them tonight. I looked at some props in the game, but I'll let Logan slide with the Pacers -3.5. Hopefully they come through with a outright victory, and obviously they cover that 4 points. I got a couple more props. The next one is an over. RJ Barrett over 21.5 points, -110 on BetMGM. Now, I meant to note there might be a chance that we add some plays today, so definitely check out the pinned comment. I might add a play or two. I'm mostly working on NFL stuff today, but there are a couple of spots I've circled, and I'll talk about those maybe at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. For now, let's talk about RJ Barrett over in points. I like this at 22.5. You could even ladder him up to 25 or even 30 points tonight. Now, Barrett, if you've been backing him the last few games, hopefully you have it, because you probably don't have a lot left in your bankroll. Unless you're being smart with your bankroll manage, that's important. Barrett's coming off 3 straight unders. He scored 13, 18, and 7 points. All of those games on the road. He attempted 15, 15, and 14 shots. Hasn't shot the ball well. Now, it's worth noting those first 2 games where he scored 13 and 18, Manuel quickly played. He's obviously their point guard. He had the ball in his hands a ton. The third game, a disaster class. They faced the Bucks. They only scored like 85 points as a team. He shot 3 for 14. He had 5 turnovers. Pretty sure he got benched as well. Now you see the Raptors coming back home to take on the Pistons. The Pistons, this is basically pick 'em. You don't see the Raptors in pick 'ems ever. So, hey, they think this game's going to be close. And look, no Emmanuel quickly, no Scotty Barnes, and a lot of other guys are still out for the Raptors. This should be a great spot for Barrett to bounce back. His last 2 home games without quickly, 33 and 31 points on 22 and 26 field goal attempts. One shopping tonight if he gets back to 20-plus field goal attempts. Barrett's primary method of scoring is in the pick and roll as the ball handler, where the Pistons ranked 26th defensively. Do I need to tell you they ranked 26th? No. If you watch Giannis, what he did to them, you'd know that, because they couldn't stop it to save their lives. Now, is RJ Barrett Giannis Antetokounmpo? No, but what Giannis and RJ have in common, they lead their teams in drives per game. RJ is right around 16 drives per game to the hoop. I have no idea what Giannis is. He's probably closer to 20. But again, this is the next closest guy to RJ in terms of drives to the hoop. I don't even remember who it was. Maybe Davion Mitchell, someone that was only averaging like 7 drives per game. You look at Barrett, he's over this line in 23 of his last 30 games when he attempts 15 or more shots. I think he goes over here. I think this is a good spot. Like I said, the Raptors are going to pick him. I don't think they should be priced in to pick them unless someone's showing up on the team. It's going to be Grady Dick, maybe. But again, this has got to be a good spot for RJ Barrett to get going. I don't really think the Pistons have any elite defenders. You should be able to drive to the hoop. I'm not really afraid of Jalen Duren in the paint. So give me RJ Barrett's over in points. I don't think a lot of people will be on him tonight after he's burned a lot of people the last few games. I think that's a perfect spot to back him. Back at home, he's obviously from the Toronto area. He's from Canada. He should be amped up to play back at home. That's kind of the only place I really want to trust RJ, because it feels like he's locked in there. Give me his over 21.5 points. I think he scores 25. Then my final plays of the day. They're all going to be on the same guy. We did a similar thing a couple days ago, and we got wrecked. But you know what? We're back on it. It's all Devin Booker. Now, these are 3 plays on Devin Booker. They are not all 1 units like the previous plays in the video, except for the Pacers. A couple of them are half units. One is a quarter unit. I tried to make it the easiest way to decipher on the screen. It's kind of hard when you get 3 picks on one guy, and I didn't want to have 3 different slides for him. But they all in total, we are only risking 1.25 units, going for some good plus value here on D-Book. Now, the first play is a 2-leg parlay. That is Booker under 28.5 points, parlayed with him to get 5+ assists. That's plus 144 on DraftKings. I'm playing that for a half unit. I'll talk about why I like his under in points, and I like the assist. I'm obviously taking the assist up an extra leg. We got him for 8+ assists at plus 210 for a half unit, and 10+ assists at plus 700 at just a quarter of a unit. So in total, if D-Book goes under in points and gets 10+ assists, I don't know how many units we'd probably win. What, 0.75, 1? Oh, we're probably looking at 3-ish units, 3.5 units, something like that. So again, I like this spot for D-Book to get those assists, and I don't like his points. Last game we faded D-Book. That was against the Kings. A tough matchup for him, and he went under in points. Now, this is not a great matchup for him once again against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I like the under in points. I also like the assist. Now, he got wrecked in the last game because he didn't play in the fourth quarter, and he had 5 assists on 16 potential assists. He was dishing it to the teammates. They just weren't making shots. And once again, I like this under for him. Booker, if he's going to score his points, is via isolation, whereas the pick and roll ball handler, where the Thunder ranked first defensively. Where do they not play well? 26th defensively versus spot-up shooters. Additionally, throw on top of that, Bradley Beal is out for this game. So, while you might be like, Beal and Durant are out, Booker over in points. That's easy. He's going to shoot a bunch. Not 100%. You're not guaranteed that. We've seen the Thunder, they like to double guys, especially on picks, and we could see some doubles coming his way, especially the Kings doubled him, forced a couple turnovers. And look, there's no Bradley Beal out there. You're going to force those guys to knock down jump shots. And again, I think this is a good spot to back those Booker assists. I think you're getting a great discount given the teammates just didn't make shots last game. We could see Grayson Allen return, a very good spot-up shooter. Hopefully they start to make them here. In Booker's last 3 games, he's averaged 16.7 potential assists per game, but only 7 assists. So we've seen him converting those potential assists into assists at 42%. Last year, he converted them at a 58% clip. Eventually, those shots are going to start to fall. Royce O'Neal, I'm looking at you. I know you bricked a bunch of threes. You went like 2 for 12 last game. He's going to get open shots again. And with no Chet Holmgren, you could see him dishing it down to Yusuf Nurkic, and hopefully Nurk can put it in, or Mason Plumlee, or their backup big can put the ball in the basket. He gave a free layup to Yusuf Nurkic, and he bricked it in the last game. I was watching it because I was wanting to throw something. But again, this is a good spot for him. We've seen other guys have big assist games. Jokic against OKC at 16 and 13. Obviously, much different player than D-Book. Chris Paul had 9. He wasn't a big threat to score. Still 9 assists. Trae Young only 8. I don't know how many potential assists he had in that game, but it is what it is. Draymond had 11. And Ingram, kind of a big ball handler like D-Book, had 6, but only had 12 potential assists. I expect D-Book to kind of have the ball in his hands a ton tonight. He might get the Lou Dort matchup, and I wouldn't be shocked if someone's setting a screen, if they double him and force a bounce pass into Yusuf Nurkic, let him deal with the defense, and hopefully those guys can make those shots, or the guys on the perimeter can make shots as well. So I think this game is tight. I think the Suns play tight. I just hope that it's not D-Book scoring a bunch of points. Obviously, if he does and he goes over in points, probably a hard chance for him to also get the assist, but still has potential there. So I like these 3 plays for him. Hopefully it makes sense on the screen. A half unit on the first one for under in points, or just 5+ assists. His regular assist line, I think, is 5.5 or 6.5. Also like him at 8+ assists at +200, and then 10+ at +700. So again, I like this play. You don't have to tail it. I know it's kind of a weird one having 3 plays on one guy, but again, it's just kind of 1.25 units, very similar to all the other plays, just kind of targeting that assist line, but obviously it goes hand in hand with the points, and I like that under points tonight against OKC. Those are my favorite picks. Good luck on your picks today. There's a good chance we add a player too, maybe later on today as I wait for some lines, but stay tuned. I'm going to go work on some NFL stuff now, and college football video should be live later on today. Trying to go 7-1 again. Let's try to do it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.